Hi, my name is Renee Rizzo. This will be a teacher-facing video which will guide you through my adaptation of Passport to Social Studies Grade 8, Unit 2, Day 11. I chose to adapt this lesson, although I teach high school students in alternate assessment settings, because Passport to Social Studies also focuses on U.S. history at the 11th grade level. There are relevant lessons in the 4th, 7th, and 8th grade Passport to Social Studies curriculum that address U.S. history at a level that is often more developmentally appropriate and accessible for students in alternate assessment settings. In this video, I will be using Nearpod and demonstrating various features it offers to make lessons more immersive and engaging. I will also show you 3 differentiated levels of assessment for this lesson, which I created in Google Forms. Passport to Social Studies Chinese Exclusion Act. The focus question from the original lesson. What were the experiences of immigrants in America? The lesson objective from the original lesson. Explore the challenges Chinese immigrants faced in the early 19th century and evaluate the Chinese Exclusion Act. Next Generation Learning Standard addressed, in my opinion, RST2. Determine the key ideas or conclusions of a source. Summarize complex concepts, processes, or information presented in a source by paraphrasing in precise and accurate terms. Comparable NISA DLM essential element. Determine the central idea of a text. Recount the text. DLM essential element linkage levels. Initial precursor can identify the concrete details such as individuals, events, or ideas in familiar informational texts. Distal precursor can find 2 points made by an author of an informational text that relate to each other. Proximal precursor can summarize an informational text, including relevant details and descriptive information. Target can recall and describe the events and details in an informational text in the same order as they appeared in the text. Successor can ascertain the logical relationship or interaction between 2 or more individuals, events, ideas, or other details in an informational text. Vocabulary. I chose this vocabulary because I feel that students need to understand what these words mean in order to comprehend the main idea of the lesson. Boycott, to refrain from engaging in commercial or social relations with a group as a form of punishment or protest. Exclusion, the act of leaving someone or a group of people out of something. I incorporated a video from YouTube, a PBS video about the Chinese Exclusion Act, because I feel that videos help the content really come to life for the students. Introduction model. This was a poster that was in the original lesson that I decided to include. Boycott. A general boycott has been declared upon all Chinese and Japanese restaurants, tailor shops, and wash houses. Also, all persons employing them in any capacity. All friends and sympathizers of organized labor will assist us in this fight against the lowering Asiatic standards of living and of morals. America versus Asia, progress versus retrogression are the considerations involved. So it's important to have a poll after this. Do you think the person who created this poster liked people of Asian descent? Yes or no? This can prompt a discussion with you and your students about whether they think this is right or wrong to treat people in this way. Boycott of Chinese and Japanese businesses. How can you tell the person who created the poster did not like people of Asian descent? So it's important for students to be able to go back to the poster and find the clues that this is a really negative opinion of Chinese and Japanese people. So analyze the cartoon. What do you see, think, and wonder? This is a tool taken from the lesson itself, but I see it as a valuable tool to use no matter what the content is, especially for our students in alternate assessment settings, because we want them to be able to really empathize with the feelings of another person in a text. So in this particular cartoon, what do you see? You see a person sitting down. You see wooden doors, right? What do you think is occurring based on what you see? So, based on his face, you would think he's upset, right? And it says Golden Gate of Liberty, and the doors are closed. So maybe he doesn't have access to freedom and liberty, right? And what do you wonder based on what you see and think? And this could bring up a lot of different wonderings for the students. So, this is especially beneficial, like I said, for our students in alternate assessment settings, because a skill that we often do work with them on is empathizing with the feelings of another person. It's also good for them to be able to pick out concrete details from a text, which in this case is a picture, and then make inferences based on it and separate out those skills to understand what they are really doing and what they are being asked to do. So there's another poll here for students to reflect. Do you think the person who created this cartoon was in favor of the Chinese Exclusion Act? Yes or no? And then not in favor. What details in the cartoon showed you how the cartoonist felt about the Chinese Exclusion Act? So this gives the students another opportunity to cite evidence from the text. So now I'm going to show you the 3 differentiated levels of assessment I created using Google Forms. Level 1. What kind of opinion do you think the people who created the Chinese Exclusion Act had of Chinese immigrants in America? A positive opinion or a negative opinion? How do you think people feel when they are excluded? Happy or sad? Level 2, I still include multiple choice options, but there are no picture choices. What is a boycott? Not engaging in social or commercial relationships with a group to punish them, purchasing all the items in a store at one time, an advertisement for a company. What does it mean to exclude someone? To welcome them, to leave them out, to teach them something. How do you think the Chinese people felt when they were excluded? Happy, sad, or welcome? Level 3 becomes more open ended. What is a boycott? What does it mean to exclude someone? How do you think the Chinese felt when they were excluded? How would you feel if someone excluded you from something? So, just to review, we went over a Nearpod, which I adapted from a Passport to Social Studies 8th grade lesson about the Chinese Exclusion Act. And we went over 3 differentiated levels of assessment that I created using Google Forms. Thank you for watching.